So guys, obviously you know what today's video is going to be about. It's a little bit of a sore subject for me, but I've had people ask me, many different questions throughout the years and over time, what it was like to have a mom that survived as long as she did with the disease that she had. I mean, we found out when I was about 14 years old that she actually had lung cancer, and it was a devastating time. I still remember being so young and watching, her first chemo treatment and thinking back then, that's it, that it was gonna be the end, It just so coincidentally that I chose to do this video today. Today is my mother's birthday. Today would have been her 60th birthday. So yeah, it's a little bit hard. I planned this all out and I had no idea, just coming up with different content to share with all of you that I feel like is put on my heart. And so I'm sorry if this video is a little bit hard for me to get through, but I'm gonna try and, express, what it was like. It was a hard journey, my mom was the biggest fighter out there. I mean, and it was only by the hand of God. I truly believe that she lasted 17 years, which is unheard of for lung cancer. She, went in readmission, she got a piece of her lung cut out. I mean, she had so many different things, but, she would say things like, "Don't worry about it, I'm not going nowhere." God's not done with me yet. And she would say crazy things like that all the time, but that was just her personality. She was always a fighter from the very beginning. She was probably, the biggest character. There was no other person in this world like her. But, living with that, when I knew it got to a point, because my mom, like I said, she was a fighter. So she would, if there was something to do to try and fix it or to try and heal it or to try and fight it, she did it. But when it came the time when the doctors came and said to her, "I'm sorry, there's nothing else we can do." And it was that moment where I realized, it's like, that they're sick, that they're dying, all of this, but then now it's watching them. I think that was the hardest part for me, is in her last year, her last days of her life, just watching her die, and that there was nothing that any of us could do, that we couldn't fight anymore. Just watch this person that had so much life inside her and so much spunk, literally, and I'll show a picture here, go from this to then this. And that was probably the hardest thing, is to watch. It's like she became so brittle, so frail. And it was just like, the not knowing. It's like, you didn't know when it was gonna happen. It's like part of you obviously didn't want it to happen, but part of you did. Not in a bad way, but you wanted it so that they didn't suffer anymore. And I guess in some ways I feel guilty for feeling that way, because even if she was frail and brittle, the fact that I could still talk to her. I'm sorry, guys. The fact that I could still talk to her and still joke around with her, and I'll show another video, and order food with her, that was better than not having her at all. I mean, I didn't want her to suffer. I don't want anyone to think that, because I would never want anyone to go through that. But it's like the not knowing and living, it's like you wake up every day and it's like you wake up with this, you know, as much as I know God and I love God, it was a hard experience. It's like this fear of today's the day, and this heavy burden and weight of that you can't do anything to change it. And I tried my hardest to make her last days here as fun as possible, and her personality, no matter what it was, shined. And this next video is going to be hard for me to share, but I will share it. This was in the car the night or the weekend before she died, when we took her home from the hospital. And you could see that spark in her fading, but it was still there because I was asking her to dance. She was still trying because that's who she was. She was this spunky, funny, I mean, she made anyone laugh that she saw. And she would say inappropriate things and go, oh, wait a second, I'm sorry, Esther, should I have not said that? But the best thing about her was her heart. She had the best heart. So living with this cancer and not knowing was probably the hardest part, and the other than the fact that of watching this person that you love so deeply and so much. And for me, this person that I got finally in my life, that I wanted my whole life, now watching her fade away. And it was funny watching her. I mean, yeah, I know some people may be against it, but she was in a lot of pain, and she was very proud of her marijuana card, and she took it, and she was hilarious on it, and it just made her funny, and it took her pain away, so I could care less. I agreed that if she was in that much pain, that it was probably one of the best things that she could have gotten. And so here's another video to kind of give you guys an understanding of, she was the life of the party. And it was so hard. And it is still hard every day. But I know that there's a purpose in her story, and with me carrying it on through my story, because God did so much between us, and I love her deeply so much. Will, still do, and never will forget. But guys, if you or a family member is dealing with this, just cherish. The best advice I can give you is to cherish every single moment. To not take for granted one laugh. To not take for granted one hug. Or even one conversation, because once they're gone, you can't get that back. But not only that, for those of you who may be struggling with this, just know, if you put your hope and your trust in God, that there's hope, that He can come heal and restore you until He is ready to call you home. Because this disease is not of God. And so guys, I hope that this encourages someone. I hope this helps someone. And please leave comments on the bottom if there are any questions that you have, or any videos of things you may want me to talk about that might be helpful to you. Any questions you might have for me, I'd really appreciate. Just leave them on the bottom. And guys, please remember, even with my tears, to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. This one's for you, Mom. Happy birthday in heaven. I know that you're having a party up there for your 60th birthday. I'm sad that I'm not with you, but I know that you're with Jesus and you're celebrating and having the best time.